Hey everyone, go look at the other podcast. They're really good. We talk about things.
They're right good.
They're really good. They are.
Right good.
Yeah.
Right good podcast you did there, sir.
People have said that. Not quite in the
They've
same
said,
accent.
oh, that's right good podcast you've made
Do you
there.
know what though? I do know people from Cornwall, so like they could.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
do you know?
Yeah.
Is this even what that accent is?
There was bits of it. You lost it.
Oh, here, my gum.
Ah, okay. I don't know.
Oh,
what that
that's
would be.
great podcast.
Oh,
you've
that's
made
way
there.
up north.
Oh,
That's
it's
way up
right
north.
good
Yeah,
podcast.
you're going up north. It's more south.
It's a travelling accent.
It's just a travelling
It's a
accent.
tour.
It's just a travelling
It's
accent.
a tour in a voice. Who doesn't want to listen to the mellifluous tones of the country through one sentence? No one, that's who, motherfucker.
I mean, I'm one of those people that didn't want to hear that accent.
Oh, that's a right shame there then, isn't it? Like that there, lad.
I really hope there's a lot of offended people.
The end of that was just
I hope a lot of people just hate you for that accent, because I do.
It's a wonderful waste of time. It's a wonderful waste of time. It's a wonderful waste of time. It's a wonderful waste of time.
Hello and welcome to the 31st ever episode of the Wonderful Waste of Time podcast.
Cool.
If you didn't see last week's podcast, go on YouTube and watch it, because we recreated the best cartoon of all time.
The best.
And I mean, there's a lot to live up to, but all of it's garbage compared to what we did. I mean,
Yeah.
we're pretty special.
Yeah,
I feel.
I'm pretty sure if Walt Disney
No,
was to see
genuinely
that-
though, it was genuinely quite good. Like, I would watch it.
Again, I think if Walt Disney was to see it, that would get commissioned straight away.
I don't think it's a very Disney cartoon.
Come on.
Someone would pick it up. Probably
Walt
not Disney.
The Walt Disney, as in the
Oh,
guy.
him himself would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
into it.
Of course he would be. Like that had him all written all over it. That was him. That's his thought track. That's what really goes in his head. You know,
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse was just him hiding his twistedness.
No, those were just his elaborate doodles.
Yeah. This is
Really,
the real...
what he wanted was the show that we made. And if you want to find out more about it, you can go on youtube.com and look up the Wonderful Waste of Time podcast and watch that episode.
Yeah, you can.
So this is a show where we redefine the episode. We redefine the
Redefine the edge
episode.
of the box,
we
man.
redefine the edge of the box. And we look a little bit deeper into the things we like, love and hate.
Redefine the episode.
Redefine the episode. That's what I've just done, though, by accident, in saying
I
that.
see that. I see what you've done there.
It's a nice little logical
It's like
loop.
Inception.
Inception or conception? Is it like making love? No. Feel like making L-O-V-E love to you. So the way that this works is I spin a wheel to decide which of us is going to talk about a thing, and then I spin another wheel to pick a category from like TV, films, games, comics/books, cartoons, anime, music and poetry, or the anything slot, which is just a good way to make you be able to pick the thing you actually want to talk about, which has only come up like once in 30 episodes. I suppose, no, 15 episodes. Because every other episode's the top 5, so...
Yeah, there's still,
15 episodes, it's only really come up once. But 30 times, because we do 2 topics an episode.
Okay, you've lost me.
Math.
I mean, you've got me.
Math.
I'm with you, but it's just there was a lot to process there. And when I said you've lost me, I processed it, so I was back with you.
Yeah.
I caught up.
So I'm going to spin the first wheel to decide which of us is talking. While I do that, can you make the sounds of conception?
No.
That's a shame it's happening. The wheel has decreed.
Actually, if I keep saying no, does that still count?
Yeah, that's not good.
So bad. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Go for it. I hope you're listening to this out loud with family members on a bus. Don't play your music out loud on the bus.
Please stop this.
But do for this podcast.
Can you please stop this?
Stop. You. And the second wheel, continue.
Oh, bullshit.
Do the other person.
Okay. That was like bed and person as well. That was,
Yeah,
you know.
but now do the other person.
Okay.
Go. They're very rhythmic. Stop. Games.
Nah. Fun.
Which is
Cool.
good because
Games are fun.
we just picked something for you to talk about because you were struggling.
We did just have a very short conversation, and it was just actually about the games that I like and why I like them. I'll just give people a quick list of games that not so much these are like my favorite games of all times, but these are the games where I would want to play them, right? And just wheeling them off.
Repeat playing,
or even like once you've completed it, you'd want to go back to
carry on, and
you know, and a lot of them actually give you things to do outside of the main storyline. So you know, we've got games like Pokemon and Zelda and Kirby. Kirby actually I really like as well.
Yeah. You can't really do what you were going to talk about in Kirby.
No, not as much, but it's still got a little bit of like kind of, because it's got the different worlds, elements and stuff like that. You can't wander as much, no, but it's still got that journey element, which is what we're going to get to. So that's on that platform. We've got GTA, love GTA. Final Fantasies, like I haven't got a favourite because it's been a while since I played them, but I'll go with my classic, which is all 7.
Yeah.
And 7, and actually, it's either 10 or 11. It's the one with the monkey with it's the one where the monkey is one of the main
isn't
characters.
that 9?
I thought 9, but I think it's in 10 as well.
10's Titus, or Titus, however they pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Isn't his name...
It's the one with the floating wizard as well. Could be 9, actually. It could be 9. But anyways, let's not get too bogged down on that for now.
Zidane, it's 9.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Sleeping Dogs, I'm really...
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs is good for that kind of thing
really
as well.
enjoying it at the moment as well. Yeah, I think that kind of gives a bit of a picture. So the basis is these are adventure games. These are kind of world.
They're not all adventure games. They're all sandbox games. They're all open world exploring.
Is actually, that's the one. Open world exploring games where you've got your main mission. Obviously, with Pokemon, it's to catch them all and to sort of get to the Pokemon League.
Well, that's not the main thing, is it? It's beating the gyms.
Yeah, but
catching them all is very much the open world side of it, in the fact that you can spend all your time walking around trying to find all of the other Pokemon.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually.
Getting to the Elite Four is the main story.
Yeah, the Pokemon League. Yeah. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got all the other side stories that you can do. There's so many little quests in Pokemon. It's ridiculous.
People asking you to do random things.
Yeah, and even things you could do for yourself, or even like little bits of like, if you want to capture specific Pokemon, there's steps to take. And I like stuff
like
legendaries
that. And stuff that have like a series of steps sometimes, which I think is quite cool. I like in is it Ruby Sapphire, which is my favourite one. Is that? But I might actually be wrong about which fucking thing they're in. The Reggie ones, the Reggie Rock, Reggie Steel, Reggie Ice.
Oh yeah.
Where there's also the Giga Reggie or whatever it's called.
What's that?
It's just like another one, but you have to have had all 3 of those to catch it. So you've got to do the series of things for all 3 of them, but then you've got to bring all 3 of them, and you've got to do some other stuff to get into the final one.
That's sick. That's pretty sick. See, again, I didn't even know that.
It might be like Reggie Gigas or something.
And then,
like that.
I mean, Zelda. I think Zelda's one of the best for this.
It is Reggie Gigas.
Like, Zelda's probably one of the best for this. Where the amount of mini quests in Zelda, beautiful. Like, there's and it's fun. It's proper like little things you can collect, and things like places you can go, and all of that little things you can do. Obviously, you've got your main quest as well. Tomb Raider as well, actually. I just wanted to put this as an exploring game.
Tomb Raider's more levels. The newer Tomb Raider's less like that. The newer Tomb Raider's actually sort of a hybrid. Because it's like a series of sandboxes. Like, you can go back. You can walk all the way back through the levels, but it sort of guides you. It's not completely on rails, but it's sort of like, this is where you kind of have to go.
What I like about
and then you'll get to like a hub, and then split off from there. Like,
I feel like with Tomb Raider, there's always there's a specific way to get through certain rounds. I don't know, with Tomb Raider, I felt like when I just loved them for like how complicated they were. They weren't just just jump there and that. There was a lot to work out, which gave it that extra element of
puzzle
kind of
size.
Yeah, but the puzzles really...
I never really got that into Tomb Raider, but
you don't like. There's a lot of.
I used to hate how she controlled, basically. And I always found that quite difficult. In the very early ones, it wasn't that bad, but I never really played them. But then some of the ones where I was going to try to get into it, she like jumps weird and shit like that.
Okay,
and it put me off.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've played since they rebooted it, since the Square Enix ones with the bow and arrows. That's the ones where I started playing again. Those are really good.
Who'd done it before?
Eidos? Was it Eidos?
Oh, okay. And Eidos fucked up. Is that what you're trying to say?
Maybe.
Fair enough.
I wasn't saying that, but the ones that they did, I didn't like as much.
Okay. No, I mean...
Poisonally. Yeah, it was Eidos for a little while. Or they're the publishers. I don't know who actually fucking made them.
Cool. Right. You can find that one out. You find that out. You go for that. But yeah, essentially, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like it's an element, and a lot of games really benefit from having this kind of, because a lot of fighting games have taken this on, but a lot of games really benefit from having this extra layer of you being involved in the character more.
Yeah.
Because through the journey you're finding out bits about the character. They're giving you stories. They're giving you kind of. Sometimes you end up not liking the character, like in Pokemon. I don't like Ash, and it's through the kind of his interactions with people where it's like.
Well, he doesn't interact with anyone in the game.
Rude shit.
It's like Link doesn't
talk. But with Link, is more likable. I don't know why. But when Link is going on quest, it's more likable. It's more like, well, yeah, man. This guy's actually out to help people. He's going off to the fucking other side of the world for a little princess.
There's the subtle notion of the fact that in Pokemon you're just capturing animals.
Yeah, essentially you're just.
So internally, everyone in there's kind of a villain.
Not the vet. What are they called? The people that capture the animals are not vets. They're like dog pound people.
Yeah.
What they're called?
Catchers.
Catchers. Is that it? Is that your title?
I can't think of another term for it.
There's some. I swear that there's. I feel like there's a word for it. And again, I feel like I'm getting bunged down with this. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, a really good example of this is Mortal Kombat, right? Maybe taking a little bit of Mortal Kombat really benefits from this extra layer of having a journey in. I can't remember which one first started it, but the one
that's not like an open world journey.
It's
that's
it is
story
actually.
Mode.
The story mode, but the story mode gives you this. It's extra. So if you didn't have story mode, it would just be a fighting game.
Yeah,
essentially.
So it's not open world. That's not what you were talking about.
Well, no, it's not. It's not as open, but there's little
compared
things
to
you
all
can
the games you originally listed.
Well, no. If you think about the things you can do, so in the Mortal Kombat, you can collect items through the world. So even in the stages you're going through, there's things to collect. There's extra elements of things you can do. You haven't got the whole map to explore in the same sense as you can go into houses and shops and stuff like that. You haven't got that element, but you still have this extra quest of having to find things and collect things, and that kind of gives you extra elements in the wider game. It's not as open as GTA, where you can do all of that, like San Andreas, where you went to the gym and that's giving you gains for the game. But obviously that's an total different thing.
Yeah.
But it's an extra element to it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I get what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, okay,
so I thought you were saying that the bit that you like is the open world stuff, because that's the thing I really
think that's
enjoy.
an element of it, though. I think that's an element of I think that's part of it, is just having that extra bit that's past we're just fighting, or you're just aspired, so like, so one of the reasons where, what's
I suppose, so what you're saying isn't that it's the open world, it's not the exploring, which is what I thought you wanted to talk about, which is something I was quite excited to talk about.
Yeah.
We could talk about another
time. We can still very much touch on it. But
you're talking more about giving you the option to do more than one thing.
Yeah.
Having more than a base game.
Yeah, basically the side games, the extra bits you can do. And for me, obviously, the exploring is part of that. I think it's just
that's just one way of doing it. Isn't
that's
it?
just you get to enjoy the extra elements of the games, like GTA. You can rub a car and drive around for ages. That's nothing to do with the main story.
No,
but you're still playing a game. You're still essentially you're enjoying something else, another element to the game.
Yeah.
So I just think it's something that a lot of games could benefit from. A lot of games could kind of really.
I think most games now have a lot more of an idea of giving you the option to do more than one thing. There are still definitely exceptions. There are huge games that really you can only do one sort of thing in it. Like, they might be different game modes, but it's all the same thing.
All the same, yeah.
That's like something like Overwatch, which I didn't really get into because it's all online, and I don't really like playing PvP. I like doing story mode and stuff. Yeah. But that is different versions. It's like a shooter. It's just different versions of doing the same thing. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing like a courier mission and you've got to protect something and the other team's trying to attack it, or you're just all trying to shoot each other, or whatever it is still just shooting each other.
Yeah. So what I was going to touch on now, I feel like shooting games do suffer from this rather than
more than other things.
Yeah, because like think of COD,
and
right?
even when they try and mix it up, it is still a similar thing. It's like Call of Duty. It does have a story, even in the story, and an online version, and then they put in like zombies. Yeah, but then zombies is still just the same shooting.
It's just survival mode, and it's just basically
there's less like world building.
Yeah, and there's less interaction with anything apart from shooting. You know, there's not much you can do.
There's not more to gain from it.
Yeah. Essentially that. There's not, and that's why it's just
a different challenge.
And that's why it's, you know, you've got games where essentially you can get lost in doing these other things. You can very much waste half of the game.
Oh, definitely.
Like, you know, just doing this total extracurricular thing.
As an avid Fallout player,
yeah,
definitely can just spend literally hundreds of hours doing all the little things rather than doing the main story.
Yeah.
Actively avoiding doing the main story to do side quests and literally, just to explore and infor, like I was saying when we did a podcast about Fallout 4, building houses and shit like that, just being able to do all these little extra things, I think makes a huge difference.
It does. I think it's something that, I mean, like you said, a lot of games I've kind of embraced it a lot more now. Like I said, the Mortal Kombats and the old Tekkens, it was very much, you know, fight, you're done. That's it. There's nothing else to it. But one of the Xbox, it was perfect, where you've got this not open world, but you've got this exploration side of things. You collect little bits through that mode. And that mode leads on to the fights, but there's little bits you can do outside of it, you know, like Naruto is really good for this, actually, where you can collect herbs, Ninja Storm, by the way, which is essentially just a fighting game again, but then you can go to the story mode where you can establish your character. Yeah, you know, you can collect herbs and stuff, which makes little.
Yeah, you can go out and do things as well, can't you? It's not super open world.
No, it's not. It's not like you're gonna go off and rob a car and then, you know, like.
Not all open world is robbing cars and shagging prostitutes, but
no, just the best ones.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's essentially. I just wanted to say to everyone. I don't know. I think you get more out of that anyway.
Even if it is the basic game, just the ability to do more than one thing is hugely. I think the best example is like Little Big Planet. If you took out all the creativity in that game, it's just a platformer. Like, it's a pretty basic platformer where you can just put stickers on things,
and then it moves.
Yeah, through. But then you have the creation stuff. And people make ridiculous things.
I think this is why Minecraft is really...
Minecraft's another good example. Because Minecraft, you can tell that it was built to be a world, and then you can build into it. But then they gave people the option to also build worlds. Yeah. So, like, the base of it has a story. It's not got, like, a proper story. It's not like, go here, do this thing. Yeah. But if you do a series of things... I don't know if you know about this. I can't remember what it's called. There's, like, a dragon thing. But if you do a series of things, you can fight different bosses, and then you can go into like another world and stuff like that.
I've never in my life played Minecraft.
I've never played Minecraft. I just think that that's quite interesting because I always just thought it was literally just a sandbox
and
to just build some shit. But there is like this sort of story that's in the background, which is quite interesting.
Fair enough. I probably won't get into it anyways.
No, I feel like I don't want to get into it because I think if I enjoy it, I will waste so much time playing that.
That's fair. But I mean, it's one of my favourite ones is Pokemon. You know, you can go to the betting thing.
Oh,
and you can do like the slot machines and the cards and stuff like that.
Slot machines, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got a gambling problem, but on Pokemon I do. Like, it's so
even
fun.
Just having like mini games and stuff makes a difference, especially in Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto is a great example of this.
Grand Theft Auto has pretty much always done the best mini games because they don't feel like mini games. They're not like, and now we're doing this random thing. It's just you go to a pub, you play pool. That's just like, that's just life.
Yeah.
And in 5, you go to a tennis court, you play tennis. You call someone up and say, come play fucking tennis.
It's really cool.
And then they play tennis with you.
Cool as well. Yeah, that is really cool.
Phones have become a bigger thing in games. More games seem to have a phone system. Even Zelda has a camera with him now. Not Zelda, Link has a camera, obviously, but in Zelda.
In the game.
So you have a thing called like the Sheikah. So you have the people, the Sheikhs. So you have a Sheikah slate. Is your thing, and it looks like a little tablet computer, basically, but like in their style.
Yeah.
And it's what can store all the information, so it does your maps, it unlocks things.
Okay.
It's what gives you the different powers that you can use, but it can also take pictures, and there's this whole thing of you've lost your memory, and you use it to go to all the places where Zelda took pictures with you, so that you can restore some of your memory. And
sick.
you can use it to get information from things and stuff like that. That's a great really world building idea.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like just another way to gain a little bit of information. I like that.
Yeah, and then Final Fantasy had the, do you remember the Chocobos?
Yeah.
You could do races with them.
Yes.
So cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
In the newer Final Fantasy, which I still haven't played, but was one that I wanted to play. I'm not super big on Final Fantasy. Yeah, all that kind of stuff's pretty amazing, and I like the stupid things like fishing and stuff like that.
Fishing's a big thing,
if someone was like, you want to play a fishing game, I'd be like, fuck no.
Yeah.
But if I play Final Fantasy, I'll be fishing.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Zelda, fishing, Pokemon, fishing. These were
my god, the fishing in Pokemon. It's so simple, and you're just doing it constantly.
Yeah, that's really... And these are little things. And actually, the more I think about it now, the more I think I'd probably spend more time doing those little things.
Yeah.
Because the main story, essentially, if you're given just the main story, that game is it's done. It was like, that's a day. And you're day, 2 days, but, depends on what your habits are with games. But that's done. That's it. And then what do? You play that story over again.
Yes. That is another really great thing, that having something like that, whether it's mini games or just being able to explore and collect things, it gives you the option to decide how long the game is.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, if you just did the story, when it ends, it ends. Whereas if you really enjoy a game and you don't want it to end, you can just go and do other stuff.
Yeah.
And then do the story later on. Or in a lot of games, you can finish the story and do the other stuff.
Which is... And that for me, that's two things, right?
Yeah.
That's more for your money. It's a game that keeps on giving, So it's like, I've done the whole story now, but that's not the end of this game. I've just paid all this money. I can continue playing this game for as long as I want, essentially, because it's got all of these other mini games. Like Wii's got Wii Sports, or I can do half of Wii Sports and GTA. You know what I mean?
Like, you really can as well.
It's so it just keeps on giving. It gives you the extra elements and.
The ones that you actually bother to play on Wii Sports are in Grand Theft Auto.
Essentially.
Just tennis.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, tennis and bowling. Yeah, is there bowling in Grand Theft Auto?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
They should put, then they'd corner the market.
I think that's the next. That's the next year.
That and maybe the basketball ones, alright, on Wii Sports.
Ooh, basketball GTA. I think they missed a trick.
I feel like they've done that in San Andreas. You could pick up a ball and you could... You could shoot that was about it.
Yeah, you couldn't dribble much.
But that was the only thing that was fun in Wii Sports, was just doing like 3-pointers.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, it's just it's more but money.
Not to keep going back to obviously one of my favourite games, but
is it Fallout?
It might be Fallout. I like as well in that like you say, obviously you can finish the story and then carry on doing stuff. It's really good. But I like that you can sequence break completely. You can leave loads of the story. You can just fuck off from where you've been told to go, and you can go and find everything yourself. So in 4, I'm just talking about specifically at the moment, you wake up and then you go to your house from before everything had happened, and then the natural path leads you to this town where you meet people who are called the Minutemen, and they kind of start everything off. But once you know that, you can just leave them alone. You don't have to help them. You can just go and find all the side quests. Yeah. You can find everything that they tell you to go and do.
Okay.
Like so they sort of guide you to settlements and stuff, but you can just as easily walk and find settlements. And even in natural gameplay, when they're telling you to find stuff, you don't always want to listen to what they're doing. You've got other missions you want to do.
Yeah.
But you might stumble across somewhere and then turn it into a settlement, and you go back and it goes, oh, I heard you found out about that place.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's really cool that you don't have to obey the game. You can do entirely your own thing, as much as like there are certain places that are more difficult and people would tell you to avoid them and stuff like that. it's kind of fun that you can just go out and learn and explore the world.
Yourself, yeah, that's quite interesting. You don't get that with like the Zeldas and Pokemon.
It is more of an RPG thing, and like you say, Zelda and Pokemon, they have an island system like Grand Theft Auto. As much as it's not like literally islands, it's putting walls from opening up the box. Yeah. So like Ocarina of Time, it's like, oh, look at all this world, but it's like you're never going to go down that way until you've been to speak to these people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're always going to have to go to the races in the same order to learn their stuff. And same thing in Pokemon, because it's just like there is this whole open world and you can go back and go through things, but you have to have beaten a gym leader and got an HM to be able to go through certain barriers.
For like surf to certain places and stuff like that.
Just even to cut.
I know.
Through trees.
Cut was annoying.
The things that I feel like are just natural abilities.
Normal things for Pokemon to do, right? Yeah. You know, like you got claws, cool. Do you want to just do, cut that thing that you do in your
I like life? That you get like Dugtrio and it's like, but it doesn't know dig. It's like there's this whole deal.
How's he alive?
That's what it is. Is it just stuck there?
That's interesting. Did they come with their own patch of earth, Dugtrios?
Yeah, they do have like a little bit of earth around them in the picture.
Interesting. But anyways,
they do always know dig, but obviously you can teach them to not know dig.
You can teach them to not know dig.
You can override dig.
I feel like that's something you should. I feel
like that's dangerous territory.
Yeah, like you should not be able to take away the natural abilities. I don't know. Like it's like not teaching Charmander like flamethrower, and it's like
it has to know a fire move. Otherwise, what are you doing? If you just taught it all normal type moves,
you're an idiot. That's exactly what you are.
This is my Charizard. It knows tackle, scratch, headbutt, and pound. Yeah, no, just all the worst things. Yeah. It knows leer, growl, tail whip, and sand attack. It can't do anything to anyone.
Oh my god!
It's really good at lowering stats, though.
Yeah. This is my tactical Pokemon. Yeah.
And that's actually, Pokemon's a good point to it. That's when things become tactical. Yeah. And when people start doing like exploits and things like that.
Exploits.
So there's a thing with Pokemon, I can't remember the proper name for it. Pokemon have like a natural set of stats. Yeah. So they come with like a randomized set of base stats that aren't the same for every Pokemon of the same type. So like two Charmanders. Two Charmanders aren't exactly the same, even if they're the same level, because they have these other stats that I don't think are displayed in the game necessarily.
Really?
Not all of it. But people do boosting, which is breeding the same Pokemon over and over again to get the best possible stats before they start training it, so they can have the perfect Pokemon team. Which sounds so boring.
Long.
But
that is so long.
It is a thing. Wow, it's an optional thing.
Wow, see, but again, that's exactly what I'm talking
People
about.
that want to do that can do that.
Exactly.
That's why it's interesting.
And that's why that is exactly why you can enjoy these games to the extent that I feel that I do, and I feel like it's because of these things. It's because it's not because
I even appreciate it if I don't do it.
Yeah,
I'm never going to do that in Pokemon, but I really think it's cool that people can do that.
One thing I really enjoyed about Pokemon,
and I can use it to my advantage. Yeah. So I remember when Pokemon X and Y came out, I wanted Growlithe. Yeah, but there is no Growlithe.
Always want a Growlithe.
So
wait, there's no
Growlithe in X and Y. I think it was X and Y. It doesn't have it in it, but someone had traded. So my friend's brother had traded Growlithe for an Arcanine into the game, and then he was just breeding them. Yeah. But then the ones that he didn't want, he traded to me and his brother, so that we could also have Growlithe. So then I got to play with Growlithe in the game. So you can trade in most of the newer Pokemon. It has a limited amount of Pokemon in the game naturally. Yeah. But you can trade all of them in.
Like from all the past generation Pokemons.
I think pretty much literally every Pokemon you can trade into the newer ones, but you wouldn't be able to trade them back.
No, it's because
you can't do them. You can't do it back. Obviously, not just because they don't have the sprites, but because in case you've taught them moves that they wouldn't be able to have.
Yeah. So say like
you could literally have the same Pokemon you've had from Pokemon Red and Blue in Pokemon Sun and Moon.
What?
It would be very fucking complicated because you cannot directly do it.
Oh, how do
you would have to trade it pretty much up every generation.
Oh,
so you'd have to trade it into gold, silver, then trade it into what's it next? Ruby Sapphire, is that the third one? Then Diamond Pearl, then Black and White, the next and white. And so it would be like a lot of hassle to do it. But if you could have just done it naturally because you wanted to keep your Pokemon. I used to trade them into it eventually. I used to play the whole game of a newer one, then trade in my old Pokemon to do like the extra battles or to replay the Elite Four with my old team. Like exactly. To do like Battle Tower and stuff like that. I would use the Pokemon that I wanted. So I'd bring in my old ones.
Tower, that's a great example where you can just spend your whole time just constantly battling until you get whooped by level 50. You're like, fuck you. Also.
Well, that's not Battle Tower then. They're all level 50. Battle Tower flattens out levels.
Doesn't it? No, doesn't it go up? It goes up in...
Oh, they changed it. So, maybe it's different modes.
Yeah.
So they have done ones where whatever Pokemon you take, it automatically becomes 50, but its stats don't change.
Okay.
So everyone's on a level playing field, so you can't just demolish everyone because you've got a level 100 Pokemon. It just sort of caps it off so you can do more. The other thing that Pokemon does, which is such a weird thing that you're like, that's dumb, I'm not going to do that, is the shows.
Which shows?
The where you get the ribbons.
Oh, I used to do
the
those.
Pokemon contests. I've done it. I've done them on all of them.
Did they not? They started in like Diamond and Pearl, didn't they?
I think it started in Ruby Sapphire.
Yes.
I'm sure they're in that.
Yeah.
But that's such a thing of like.
Anyways.
Yeah. But it's such a weird thing, and like you feel like, well, why would I keep doing this? Then you still do it.
You still do it. Yeah. You just because
it's entertaining, and then you're like, look, it's got ribbons.
Yeah.
My Pokemon's special.
This is real.
Even having separate Pokemon to do that stuff, I used to have.
Yeah,
Pokemon that weren't good at battling, it was just like, I've boosted the stats and they have the good moves. This was like my contest Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's like everyone used to have HM slaves where you'd teach one Pokemon that could learn the most HMs, all of them, and only bring it with you to get over obstacles.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to teach a good Pokemon like
is there Pokemon
strength and stuff like that.
Oh, the HMs,
yeah,
not the TMs.
Yeah, because you couldn't delete them.
Yeah.
In the older games, or you'd have to go to the move deleter.
Yeah.
But you'd just be like, you'd get a Doug Trio or something like that, and you'd teach it Dig, Strength, Rock Smash.
Yeah.
And Flash. It might be Sandshrew, because Sandshrew could learn Flash, I think.
Flash, yeah.
And then you'd get a Water type who could do
Surf,
Waterfall, Whirlpool. So you just have these two Pokemon that could just do everything. That's and then you wouldn't have to... Then you wouldn't have to teach it to the Pokemon that you like, because it can learn Cut as well.
Yeah. It can learn Cut, it can learn Dig.
Then you wouldn't mind teaching one you liked Fly, because it was a decent move.
I like
and they made Surf better.
Good. Surf?
So they made Surf is stronger than I think it used to be. So it's like quite a decent move.
It used to be a good move. Surf was quite powerful.
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe it's just always been pretty good then.
Yeah. But this is great. This is great. This makes me understand how much I really like Pokemon again. Yeah. I may start playing again.
I am so excited about the fact that they're going to put a Pokemon on the Switch.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that going to work?
What do you mean how's it going to work? They're just going to make a game and it'll be on the
Pokemon.
Switch.
No, I thought if they're going to change that.
I think they'll just make it better looking.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to keep it in... I hope they just keep it in basically the same style as Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
I'd like them to just make the graphics better so it looks more like anime.
Yeah.
And I'd like them to put voices to all the Pokemon rather than cries. I'd like it to be like the anime. I'd like it if they put in... instead of Bulbasaur going... it goes, Bulbasaur!
Yeah.
I want that. That's all I want.
Yeah. Bulba.
Because it's world building. It feels more like the whole world.
It is.
If they make natural noises.
Gives you extra things. Yeah, that's the other point, actually, is it gives you more to like. That's another thing. Because, like,
if you've got something I really like.
But by, like, fucking proxy. Because if there's more to explore, there's more to like.
Literally. And
nothing that you can add to it is... Well, I suppose there's stuff that would be shit, but... It's not really going to take away from it to give you more options of things to do.
It's just something else to do.
Because you can just not do it.
Boom. And this is why, like, going back to fighting games, and this is like just gives you more to like.
Yeah.
I liked I still like Mortal Kombat more because it was the first one that I stumbled into a story mode with. Yeah. Whereas Soul Calibur, which I really do like Soul Calibur as like the characters, I just haven't bought into it as much because there wasn't anything past the whole fight. You're done. You know, like there wasn't anything past that. Mortal Kombat really, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that story mode. I ate into it, and it gave you. So you know, at Tekken, they've all got their stories. They've all got the pre-story, and then you know all the stuff that goes with the Mortal Kombat story mode. Yeah, you're actively going through that story. So it's not like they just show you these clips at the beginning and then you get a bit. of
which is what a lot of them are like. I always remember, even in some of the newer ones, it's literally just like. It sets you up for who's about to fight, then they fight, and then it sees how they transition into the next person they meet, and then you fight. Yeah. It's a lot like that, even in the newer ones.
There's no actual moving, there's no... whereas in the Mortal Kombat, there was, like, you actively get to the next place. Yeah. You know, so it's like...
Oh, you actually have to walk to the next place? You explore. That's great. I didn't know there was one where they did that.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you walk around, you explore the area. Like... And
it's even just being able to like click on things and read about them. Yeah, it's having that sort of point and click game mentality of just like you look at a thing,
explore it,
you click on it, and your character says what it is and stuff like that. So you can learn a bit about the little details that are in a world.
Yeah,
you could just walk past.
You could literally explore the area. Yeah,
like I didn't realise they'd done that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't just cutscene. Fight. It's literally explore, cutscene, fight. It's more of a story, explore. You know, like it gave you a lot of elements, and in the story, you went from playing different. I think there's one where you go from playing different characters. So you go like you're playing as Sub-Zero at one point, and then it switches to someone else's situation, and you play as them. And then there's another one where you're like a monk. I think it is like you're just a normal monk. And you're just exploring like the normal town, and then you just end up in these situations, and you're fighting some of the. You end up. I can't remember. This one's the older one, but yeah, it's cool. Like because it brings you out of the main characters as well. Yeah. So you're just playing this. You're playing you essentially. You know, like your avatar. And then you get chucked into the realm of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so you're not one of the fighters.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. Like it gives you more to eat into, and they've all got the stories, but that one lets you actively be involved in the story. So yeah, there's nothing. Like you said, there's nothing to lose from that. There is just stuff to gain, and because they're not essential to the main storyline, you can just pick not to do them. It's a weird thing. Like I don't see anyone complaining about extras because it's like, well, don't do it then. You know, like. Just enjoy the game as it is. So yeah, it's great, and
as long as it's not taking away from the development of the storyline, as long as it is an actual add-on to it, and not like you've got rid of part of the game to make this extra thing. That's the only time where it can be a bit dodgy.
If it's like a sacrifice,
there are definitely games where they've put too much effort into the online mode, so the stories failed in a game that has mostly been story.
Yeah, see, I find online different. I'm not a big fan of this whole online thing.
I don't like online at all. But that's what I'm saying. So there are, as much as we're saying you can't do anything wrong with adding stuff on, there are plenty of games that don't need online, that add in online, and then the story mode suffers for it.
Okay, yeah.
So I think you can do it wrong.
Well, if you're taking away from something,
but adding details can never be a problem. Yeah. But adding like a whole nother fucking thing can be a problem.
But I think that's an issue where that's kind of, I think that's replacing. You're replacing the quality of the main story with what you can get. I think a lot of people had this problem with GTA at one point. Not the newest one, the one before that, because it was blank. It was blank anyways.
Yeah.
Did they have online on that one, actually?
I think they did. Yeah. I don't really remember.
I mean, the newest one, if they did. Yeah, the newest one, obviously, like, the story itself was fucking sick anyways. The character work was great.
The online's been huge.
The online's been massive. I think, they haven't released anything apart from online add-ons now for like the last how many years. Yeah. They've just been putting on little packages online.
They've made so much money from it.
Yeah, clever, and like my little
because they can be doing that while working on other games.
And there you go. And it's just okay. We'll just put another patch in there.
They're probably even when Red Dead Redemption comes out, because they've got so many studios.
Yeah,
they will just keep adding stuff to Grand Theft Auto anyway.
Yeah, I haven't played the Red Deads, and I feel like they're going to be the same.
Well, there's only been one.
Essential. Is there only been one?
Well, there's been two, but the original one wasn't a Rockstar game.
Okay.
So they sort of bought a franchise and then made their own thing. But the one that everyone liked was Red Dead Redemption.
Which is the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The first one was called Red Dead Revolver.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a completely different game.
It already sounds like. But yeah.
That's going to be it for the first part of the podcast. We'll return after a very, very short break where we'll be picking the next topic.
It's a wonderful waste of time.
And welcome back. Ready to do the next bit? You ready for me to spin the wheel?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of noises I'm going to make you make?
No.
More sexual noises.
That's terrible,
go!
Ooh, oh my god. Ooh. Oh.
Stop. Very curious.
Yeah, it got
you
really,
again. You need to be more enthusiastic.
I am.
You like it when you're in the discussion.
That's how I show my.
I think you just panic when it lands on you.
Yeah.
Now you feel the pressure.
It's the fire.
Right, ready? I'm going to spin the second wheel.
Go on.
Go. Oh, that's very porny. Stop, please, stop. It landed on games again, which you can't
We can't do that.
Please don't make it.
Do you really want to hear that?
Not particularly. I'm just going to spin the wheel and I'm going to stall just a little bit and keep saying things so that you don't make any noises, and then stop the wheel. And it landed on games again. Get fucked.
Maybe it's the sex noises.
And stop films.
Oh man, you know what? Remember when we started?
That you said there were two things you didn't have. It was games and films.
What kind of
you made the mistake of letting the wheel hear you say that.
This wheel was so against me. That's crazy. But I like that. The wheel challenges me.
The wheel makes you broaden your horizons.
Exactly. And films is cool. Again, we just spoke about this earlier. This is built on one.
What did we talk about earlier? About films?
Well, no, about a film in particular that I wanted to talk about. It's one that popped into my head, but there are more currently popping into my head. I'm going to say one right now, The Big Lebowski.
Yes, I love The Big Lebowski.
Really good film.
It's one of my favourites.
How likeable is the character, really?
Oh, the dude.
Yeah.
The dude is the most emulatable character.
Yeah.
He's hugely well written.
Yeah, he's a bit of an arse though. He's a bit of a standoffish guy, you know? Am I thinking about the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude's not the most social guy in the world.
No, he's pretty social.
Is he?
Walter's not social.
Which one's Walter?
Walter's the one that points a gun at everyone.
Yeah, okay. Wait.
The dude's Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
He can argue with people.
He was laid back, but it wasn't like, hey everyone, be my friend.
Oh no.
No.
But that's because he was laid back.
Yeah, he was
the dude.
Yeah, okay. I didn't.
He wasn't showing up and being like, "Hey, everyone, be my friend," because he was just showing up and being like, "You want to be my friend? Be my friend. If not, don't. I don't give a shit."
Cool. I mean, I have a different version of the dude in my head, but cool. You know,
that's how I see him.
That's how you see him.
The dude abides.
And then there is Fear and Loathing. Main guy's an arse.
Still haven't seen.
Okay, well, the main guy is an arse, and you can't argue back because you haven't seen it.
No,
but I mean, they're both dicks in it essentially.
You have trapped me in a corner there with my having not seen it.
Yeah, see, it's great. They are both dicks essentially, but again, they're cool. And then the last one being American Beauty, which is the one that really
which again I haven't seen.
Okay, that's also
both
cool.
films that I have the intention of seeing. I just haven't seen them still.
Kevin
for some reason.
Spacey's really done a lot in that
Kevin
film,
Spacey,
like,
is he the dick character?
He is the main character.
Kevin Spacey is probably the best dick character actor.
He is. He is really good actually in quite a lot of the things. He's not
because he's likable doing it as well.
Yeah.
He can be extra smarmy and it's just like yay.
Yeah.
It just makes you enjoy it more.
So yeah, I know you wanted to talk about something a little bit similar, but my thing here is it's not so much of what they do because that's a different conversation. But I like these characters because they're likable for their honesty, for their standoffishness, for them not being that guy who turns up and says, "Hey, be my friend."
Yeah.
But then very much being that.
So this isn't like a thing I want to talk about. This is like a thing I did talk about. This is like when we talked about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and characters who are rude, but in an enjoyable way.
Yeah, no, I mean, so
that's what I mean. That was the similar thing.
Yeah, that's a similarity. That's the similarity. But the angle I'm going with, so like, let's say Kevin Spacey, right, in American Beauty, they are really good reflections of normal people. Yeah, you know, like these are moments that we all have. We are all dickish at times. Yeah. We are all standoffish at times. Not everyone wants to be someone's friend all the time. Yeah. Right? And this is what I'm talking about. Not so much the fact that because they're horrible people, they can get away with horrible things. Yeah,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, which is more on the Always Sunny side of things. But this is more because they're horrible people. Yeah, they're honest people. They're characters,
and that's realism as well. Because people aren't nice all the time.
People aren't nice all the time. People genuinely don't want people like. I'm probably one of the, like I say this all the time, I'm probably one of the most antisocial social people you'll find. Where like there's so many times where I just don't want anyone around me. Like and not because I don't like people. I mean I hate humans in general. Yeah. That's bottom line. But I can stand them. I can stand them for the most times. But there are times where you don't understand people. Yeah. There are times where you don't want to be polite. There are times where you don't want to be correct in what you do. Now, so American Beauty is a really good example of this because he starts off, I think a lot of this journey is he gets to that point where he realizes he doesn't want to be particularly liked. Yeah. He doesn't want, so he's like,
that is interesting.
He's basically, it's
the realization of not wanting to be the likable person is very interesting.
It is really cool. And like, it's kind of played through the midlife crisis situation. Yeah. You know, he starts trying to get buff, but not because he wants to be healthy, because he wants to look good in his fucking, you know, in his mid, what would you call them? Midlife. It's not mid-teens. It's not mid.
I don't know.
You know, in his 30s, 40s. You know,
yeah, I suppose that's midlife.
Midlife. Yeah, he just wants to look good.
And 40s, 50s is more. Yeah. When people say they're having a midlife crisis.
Okay. Yeah,
I suppose realistically, 40 is probably the middle of your life.
Yeah, it's more realistic midlife.
80 is probably like that's a good run.
What, as a midlife?
No, 80. Oh, no, right, I mean, dying at 80 is pretty decent.
Okay,
like that's pretty sweet. Top notch.
On your deathbed, it'd be like, I'm 81.
Yeah.
It's kind of decent.
Yeah, it's pretty decent, brah.
But yeah, so and one of the reasons he wants to look nice is to impress his daughter's friend, who is one of the most popular kids in school. It's kind of creepy.
Can I interject?
Go on.
Impress or bang?
Are they not one and the same?
It's everyone's favourite game show. Impress or bang.
Do you want to impress or do you want to bang it?
They're not the same thing.
Okay.
Because there are people that I've wanted to impress who I've not wanted to bang. Oh. I want to impress my friends and stuff like that. I'm not looking to shag everyone.
Well,
I wouldn't say I've gone out of my way to impress you. I might do it with little things.
Yeah.
Like I might wear a t-shirt that I know that you'll like on a day that I know I'm going to see you, so that you can go, oh, that's cool.
That.
But I'm not looking to jam it in you. So I wouldn't say they're the same thing.
Okay, cool.
That's the most polite way I could think to say that. It's pretty decent.
That is okay, very decent. So I think in that situation, Kevin Spacey and I can't remember her name, I can't remember the actor's name or the actual character she played. In that situation, though, it was very much he wanted to bang her. He started having like sexual dreams about her. There's that really famous Rose scene where Rose
that's the poster shot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really and it's like I can't lie. I feel like everyone gets to a certain age where you do want to bang an 18-year-old, you know?
Oh, 100%.
Like, you know, like,
it works in every direction. I think that is incredibly...
I think you want to bang older people as well.
When you're 16, you want to bang an 18-year-old. Yeah. When you're 60, you want to bang an 18-year-old.
Yeah. It's just
that's what everyone's like, beauty. So that's when you just get fixated. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want to shag people of all ages.
Yeah, you do. Well,
of most ages. I think there's a limit when you go in too far either direction.
Yeah. Yeah, there are limits, and there are legal limits as well that everyone should adhere to, and just not be a creep, really. Yeah. You know? But
for good fucking reason.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But no, it works the other way as well. I think, you know, like people, like an 18-year-old wants to fuck like a 30-year-old kind of thing, or you know, like that kind of that shit. It works both ways, and he accepted it. He was married. And his marriage was failing because they ain't having sex. You know, things like that. There was a lot of things where...
So a character called Angela.
Yeah. She's the blonde one, right? She's blonde.
There's several blonde people. I don't know. I think it was her. Cool. She looks like the... that is her from the poster.
Yeah, cool.
Angela.
And, you know, so he's going through all of these kind of realizations of...
Oh, Mina Savari. That's who plays her.
Cool. Yeah. She's beautiful. I remember her being really good looking in that, so, you know... amongst other things, you know, like being a good actress. Like, those things count.
It's okay, you can want to fuck an actress. That's relatable.
That is...
It's find you relatable.
Is real. It is not benefit. It's the realness of his situation where he also got to this point where...
There's a great film, just for this little bit that you're just talking about. I haven't actually seen it, but just the concept of it I think is amazing. There's a film called Cashback. Okay. And it's... The main parts of the film are a guy who works in like a... supermarket, and he starts fantasizing about the women being naked and stuff like that, and I just feel like that's so like a normal thing.
It's a normal thing.
You do that, but that's such an interesting thing to put into a film because it's really honest. So I think that's a good example of what you were talking about.
It is the honesty of these characters, and like American Beauty more so, I think, is just kind of the raw honesty where he's like, spoiler alert, he does get killed by, I think it was his wife or someone, but just because of that same thing, because of that transition that he went through where he didn't want to be a step over anymore, he didn't want to appease people, he wanted to live his life for him, and it made him into this thing that was socially unacceptable. But for me, that's why I really like the character, because it's like, okay, fuck society for now. I actually want to do this for me.
Yeah, it's kind of cathartic to watch films where the character is just like, fuck this. My favourite is, have you ever seen Falling Down?
No.
Where it's just like, he's just got like a regular like businessy office job. Yeah. He's just in his car going to work every day and he gets super pissed off. And he's stuck in a traffic jam in a heat wave. And then he's just like, fuck this, and he just gets out of the car, and the rest of the film is he goes on a rampage.
Oh, okay.
He just starts fucking the world up. And it's just so cathartic to be like, oh, I've felt like that.
You want to do that, exactly.
I've had days where I've thought about just murdering everyone so that I can be alone. Like, that's the kind of thing that I think is really...
It's a genuine thing, and this is why...
People always talk about films like, you want to have the dreamy life. Oh, you can have everything go right for you, but sometimes you really just want to live out the wrong thing.
Yeah, you want to be... Like, one, you want to be an arse, and two, you want to know that life is real.
It's catharsis in catastrophe.
Say that again.
Catharsis in catastrophe. That's how I wanted to put it into one sentence. Sorry, I thought that was a cool phrase.
Yeah, no, it is. If I can't say it, it's a good phrase.
Yeah.
This is how we establish things. So this is why the Big Lebowski, the dude, this is why he really comes into this, because he's his own guy. He's not anyone who's trying to adhere to the whole being a likable character.
And I think it's good to compare the two, because... Yeah. Unlike the character that you're describing in American Beauty, where he chooses to deal with these things, the dude is just already like that, and he's unwavering, and things just happen to him, and he has to deal with it, every situation without really changing. Like, he gets a little bit angry at one point, but he's never actually actively doing anything. He just wants to get his rug back.
Literally,
that's literally all he gives a shit about.
And that's. It's that kind of, I just want my shit. I just want to get my shit over and done with. This. I don't want to deal with all of your other bullshit. I just want to do this one thing and then go back and chill. That's all I want. But I mean, there's the other side where there's a lot of characters that are overplayed to be that. that are like kind of like, oh, you have to not like things, and it's like there's too much in that. Like good people can be fucking assholes. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's what I like. That's so Fear and Loathing, he's not particularly a bad person.
Yeah. Which character is this? Johnny
this is Johnny Depp's character.
Yeah.
The other guy is a bit fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. The lawyer guy is a bit on the edge.
Benicio del Toro, isn't it? It's Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro, I believe. I shall look it up.
I'm going mostly off the book because I remember the book more than the film. Yeah. I can't lie for Fear and Loathing, but
it's Benicio del Toro.
Yeah,
he's Dr. Gonzo.
Dr. Gonzo.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's Raoul Duke.
Yeah, who's the lawyer, and he's called
Dr. Gonzo.
Great, great. But so he's essentially he's an arsehole. He's a druggie. But he's just a journalist. Like if you look down to the base of it, he's just a journalist who's gone to report something that's meant to be happening, and things aren't going right. Yeah. Mostly due to what he's doing, but at the same time because the world's full of dicks. Right?
Yeah, and you can tell how honest that is as well because he's clearly the Hunter S. Thompson character.
Yeah.
Because even in the way he's portrayed in the film, he looks a bit like him with the glasses and the cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
But isn't the voice of the film, isn't it his perspective? So is the film not told from that character's perspective? Yeah, so I don't know about the book. I've never read the book.
Same thing. Yeah. So basically what the book is he's talking about this experience that he had where he had to go to basically do a report in, I want to say it was in Las Vegas, but there were different cities within it. That he went to little, like he spent most of his time in one bit, but obviously they went to little cities. There's one city they talked about that was just outside and stuff like that.
It's to go to a motorcycle race.
Yeah, and then he ends up in this. He ends up in a hotel with like where there's a police conference and all this bullshit
goes down.
There's a lot of weird shit that goes down, and like he meets like interesting characters, like this woman. I think she was an artist and stuff like that. And in particular, so his interaction with this woman who's an artist, right? I'm not sure if it was him or his lawyer fucks her, right? And basically, they've had sex, they want to get rid of her. Which, I'm sorry, it happens. Yeah. And it's not like she's particularly being the most kind of like, oh no, let's get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. She's just been a little bit weird about things, right? And they're tripping as it is. They don't need her tripping on top of her. They want to get rid of her. I don't think that makes them bad people.
No.
It's not the kindest thing to do. But this is things that we all go through situations where it's not like you're an arsehole.
To be fair, if you meet someone who's high on drugs in the middle of a road trip and you have sex with them, surely your expectation must be that you're not going to get married.
No, it's not. I don't see that.
So I think dropping someone in that situation, kind of normal.
Yeah. I mean, the way they drop her is a little bit deep.
What actually happened?
They're like, I think they basically say how like they're not even there anymore, shit like that. And I think maybe they pretended one of them was dead. I can't remember, but it was like
dramatic.
There was a lot to it, but obviously
couldn't have just been like classic gentleman and been like,
because she
was
too
fun.
Much.
See you later.
He tried. The lawyer wasn't helping, but he tried, and she was just too much. But the other side of it is he had other shit to deal with, right? And like, sometimes delicacy don't work, and we need need characters like that because I think it's dangerous for people to go on and see like the hero complex where you have to be like, so you have to do the good things all the time, and you got like that.
Outside of like anti-heroes,
where
that's usually exactly.
Yeah,
there's usually that's when we see it most because they're still being heroic. They can be dicks because they're doing it for a reason. The Punisher can be rude to everyone because he's got a job to do.
Yeah, so but I don't think it's
not necessarily. It doesn't have to be superheroes. Obviously, there are loads of anti-heroes.
Of course. But just as a comparison of someone like the Punisher, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the Punisher is likable for his rudeness or for his honesty in what he does. Like I think maybe it's because of the hero complex. There's a sense of entitlement when they're being rude. If you get what I mean. But whereas it's just normal people, everyday people, where there is no sense of, actually you can be rude because you're saying
it's not like a moral thing. It's because you're just
not being nice at that point.
Noir films tend to have that kind of
the
thing to it.
detective who's doing
exactly.
Really,
they're usually like in a lot of classic noir films. They're like an alcoholic who's just getting the job done. They're rude. The whole like point of a noir lead character is that they're just driven. Yeah, they're just like they're working the case. They're solving.
But they're not there to be nice.
They want to get paid, and then they're done with their job.
And they're and that as well. That essence of it as well, where they're real about why they're doing things. Yeah, they're not. They're like. They very much give you this whole essence of I am being selfish in this situation. Yeah. I am just doing this for myself. And again, like we need to, books, stories, films. These are reflections of real life. And like there are a lot of people that do. Like I'm going to say it for myself as an example. Like when I moved from Nigeria to here, like a lot of understanding Western culture was looking at films and looking how like people interact with each other and the language they use and stuff like that. So people do. They use these
that's
representations.
That's why people romanticize certain places and things like that. Exactly. That's why people are like, oh, Los Angeles, they make the movies. And if you've ever been to Los Angeles itself is fucking gross.
Isn't it like
California's nice in places. Los Angeles is just full of like crap and homeless people and like tourist landmarks and stuff like that.
But
through films and stuff like that, it's like, oh, glamorous.
Yeah, it's LA.
But it's not.
Fucking Will Smith made a whole song about it, didn't he? Did he? Yeah, what's the song that he made? Oh, that's Miami. My bad.
Miami. Really different place.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. But, so, I lost my train of thought for a second there. But it is that essence of kind of, it needs to be a reflection that lets people know that one, like I said, good people can be bad and do bad things in certain situations. But two, real reality of life is these people exist. Yeah. They're not arseholes, but they exist. They're not villains.
Part of like making a depthy character and like making an understandably human character is to have them have more than one emotion.
Yeah. Layers.
Like they can have. It's often like a nice character has a moment where they snap and they're bad. It's often far more interesting to see a character who's mean most of the time who has a moment where they're nice.
Again,
like it's kind of interesting to do it the other way around.
I think these are just very like they're not like constantly mean and then they have nice moments,
but you don't see someone's entire existence in a film.
Yeah, of course.
So you might be seeing a part of their life where they're angry.
Yeah.
Or just like a day of their life. But that's what the whole film is.
Down, yeah.
So I don't mean like their entire character is that, but you can have characters come in, be seemingly angry and rude, but then by the end of it you realise that's just because of all the shit that's going on with them right now.
Yeah.
And they've got every reason to be stressed. And maybe they just like letting loose and having their life exist. I think it's interesting as well. I wanted to bring back before we wrap up, talking about noir films and bringing it back to The Big Lebowski. The Big Lebowski is in essence a noir film, as much as it's not got most of the hallmarks and things that people seem to think like have to be noir films. Like you can make a much looser noir film because he is just a guy who's got all this shit going on who just wants to get his rug back. He is like a noir character. He's just going around from person to person. Yeah. Shit's happening around him. He's just, where can I find my rug? That's what a lead noir character is, essentially. Like, the rest of the film may not be super noir, but him as a character, I think, is very much like that. Yeah. I feel like that was part of what they thought when they were writing him.
And you know what, thinking about it now, I think just on that genre side of things, these are the kind of characters I think you find more in thrillers. More so, it's not like it's maybe in some comedies where you find very deadpan people and that's part of the humor. But I think with regards to genres that you find,
thriller is such a wide term.
I mean, just
thrillers like saying rock music or hip hop. That's just like
that's it's quite broad. It's broad in essence, but with regards to
as many films in thrillers that have that. There are 100 times as many thriller films that don't have that. So that's quite broad to say.
I'm thinking quite.
I think it mostly occurs in thrillers, but I don't think thrillers use that a lot. I think there are still many thrillers where they're like a hero
and very likable.
How many thrillers are there with Tom Cruise?
Fuck Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is never going to play that kind of character. It's not what people expect of him. It's not what he can play.
Yeah, I mean, he can't play it well.
He can play Dick, but it's never believable.
Yeah. He has
Whereas
played
Kevin
Dick,
Spacey can do that in any film, be a dick, and you're just like, yay, Kevin Spacey.
To be fair, I think Iron Man's a little bit of that as well.
Iron Man is very much that.
Yeah.
And I really wanted him to become more of that.
I did
Which
as
is
well.
what I was disappointed with
went
in
the
the
other
solo
way, didn't
Iron
they?
Man films. Yeah.
They
I
went the
didn't
other way,
like
they
the third one at all. I think they sort of trashed over a lot of really good parts of Iron Man.
Yeah.
With Mandarin, they could have made him so much cooler. I really wanted the third film to be him becoming an alcoholic, which is a big thing in the comic books. That he has serious problems.
Yeah, so like the first
they show him drink.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have that part of like the
where
falling
he's broken.
down.
That kind of broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
where it's he knows he can't solve every problem with money.
Yeah,
because essentially all he does in the Marvel cinema universe,
gadgets.
He just throws cash at things.
Yeah,
it's just like can't solve this, make a new suit.
Yeah, essentially, which is. That's where
it's intelligence and cash, but
no, of course he's like he does create these things.
Yeah.
He did create a whole life source in the fucking cave with just bits of
which
tin.
is a bit dramatic.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I kind of like seeing the downside.
I like
of the
it.
characters.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why
they've got a great actor for it,
especially
as well.
across a trilogy.
Yeah,
especially Robert Downey Jr. can pull that off amazingly.
Great character for it. So I'm a great actor for it.
Across a trilogy, like some things can do it so well in one film of having a range of emotions.
Yeah.
Across a trilogy, you can't just have heroic and sad moment because someone died and then heroic again. They have that moment where it must be in the third one where he sort of goes off the grid a bit. But that whole off the grid bit should have been in a bar, pissed out of his face.
Getting kind of.
That would have been so much more. I suppose it's not really a family thing.
But I think where I've found these characters, so there's I think I touched on it. Person of interest, right? Now the main character, he's an army guy, CIA, very standoffish, but genuinely heart of gold, And I think though the element of having episodes, a build up of a character, they've got the luxury of being able to do that. You can make someone more mean in an episode and still quite likable because. You've got a longer kind of...
In a TV show, you've got more of a span. That's like we were saying with a trilogy. Even more so in a TV show.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got more time to dwell on a character to give them that.
Yeah, because it has his alcoholic moments. Yeah. He has he's a little bit more cheery, and then but ultimately he's there to get the job done. He wants to save lives, but he hasn't got time to be polite about it. Boom, that's real life. I like that. We need more characters like that. We need more characters that don't have to be liked. But you can't.
We talk about BoJack Horseman a lot. I think he's a prime example.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Oh my!
Right, we need to wrap up since we can't really go into BoJack.
Okay, yeah,
but
no, that's a perfect example.
Yeah,
perfect.
He's very much that. He's not just down and out. He has the thing that I was saying where he is mostly down moments, but every now and then he tries and does something nice.
Yeah,
it's nice seeing it that way round.
That's a really good example. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't even want to go into that.
Watch you some BoJack Horseman.
I am. New season's out, remember?
Yes.
Have you started?
No, I haven't started watching it.
Yeah, go for it. Really good.
Yeah, I need to.
Good. Everyone, watch BoJack Horseman.
We could watch some after this podcast.
We've got some food coming.
Yeah.
Good day.
Let's wrap up there. That's it for this podcast. Next week we'll be doing a top 5. If you want to hear more from us, you can subscribe on SoundCloud, iTunes and YouTube. You can leave us comments everywhere. You can tell people about it, which is always great. You can leave us reviews on iTunes. Do anything you can to just promote us in the wider world to help us get out there.
Tell your friends, man.
If you've enjoyed this podcast or any others, tell your friends.
Cool.
So you can find us on soundcloud.com/AWWOT. You'd have to search us on YouTube and iTunes. And you can contact us to email us at awonderfulwasteofemail@gmail.com or leave a comment on wherever you're listening to it. And there's going to be links for everything else wherever you're listening to it. What is your question for the day?
My question of the day, if there's one character that you either want to make them more cheery or more sad, who would it be?
Who do you want to slide the scale on?
Who do you want to slide the scale? Do you want a really dickish Mickey Mouse?
Yeah.
Or do you want a really kind Mojo Jojo?
You know? They did that in one episode.
Oh, that's nice.
That's it for this podcast. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Peace. It's a wonderful